Hey y'all, today I'm going to talk about living off the grid, which is what I do. I live in my minivan full time. But first, I made you some hot tea. There's yours. Mine. Cheers. Careful, it's a little warm. It's Echinacea Plus with spearmint. My cold is so much better. I'm not sneezing, coughing, things like that, and my nose has calmed down. So I have mended of my cold. I did have a cold. Paul and I both had a cold. And who's Paul? Paul is my travel partner. He lives full-time in his ProMaster Ram. It's a high top that he can stand up in. We do not live together. I don't live in his van. He doesn't live in mine. But we do travel together, and we're best of friends. So that's who I am. Now, what do I do? Well, I live off the grid. Yes, I do. I have solar on the top of my roof. And I have some, this is a power station that I keep right over here. I have another one of these parked right here. I have solar. The solar comes through my pop-out window, and it comes right into there, and it's powering up. I'm getting only, because I'm parked in the shade, I'm getting like 4 watts, but it's trickling in, and I love this light. I really do. Oh, it's gonna change colors. Uh-oh. I know. It's a light show. This is off grid. This is a really Let's get some there. That's nice. That's a nice color. This is a USB light, and you can keep changing it. It's a touch sensor, so that's pretty cool. And I can leave the link for that. This is an off-grid kind of thing. I've got my fairy lights up here, off-grid. Oh yeah, that's totally off-grid, isn't it? And but do I totally live off-grid? I'm getting antsy again. I'm not totally off-grid. I mean, how could I be? If I'm pumping gas into my minivan, I'm using electricity. If I go to a restaurant, I'm using the grid. If I go shopping, I'm using the grid. So I'm not Grizzly Adams living out on the mountains, or Amish, to where I don't even use a telephone or anything like that. No. But I am, for the most part, in my minivan, I'm totally off grid. And it's really cool. It's a very sustainable lifestyle. And I know a lot of you are already nomads. Some of you are a lot of you are in houses. And there are a certain percentage of you that are thinking about this lifestyle. I call it, my style of being a nomad, I call it day tripping, because and no, has nothing to do with the Beatles and the drugs or anything. That was a long time ago. I think it's a cool phrase, and I think that it needs to be used in a different way, because I do feel like I'm sort of tripping around in the city. I'm nestling in with all of the locals, and I'm doing what they're doing, but I'm living in my minivan, and I'm living off-grid. It's a cool life. It's not for everybody, but it is a cool life. The difference is that I've noticed since living in a house, a people house. This is a people vehicle, right? So what are the differences of my lifestyle as to when the most significant of living off the grid in my minivan? Well, the first one that I can think of is cooking. I cook in a little stove. And I know that most of you have seen me do it. This is my butane stove. There's Minivan Lee. I put the sticker here so that I know that this is upright, because when I open it, I don't want, to have an upside down stove. Okay, let's do this. There we go. This is my stove. I take it out and I put butane in here, and I turn this over and I can cook on it. I take this completely out and I can cook on it. What do I cook? Well, I don't do extensive cooking, seriously. not living, that's another difference, not living in a house, a people house. I cannot do extensive cooking with my setup. Now, I will mention there are some nomads who have this complete setup for cooking. I've seen minivans where they have this pull-out, but they'd have to do it outside, wouldn't they? But they have this pull-out that they, and it brings out a big table. They got their stove. And a lot of people just want that kind of a system because they love to cook. They've always loved to cook, and that's what they want to do. So I love to cook also and bake and do all of that, make homemade foods with using organic ingredients, blah, blah, blah. But that's not really what I'm into right now. Right now, I'm just into living a very simple off-grid life. So I don't do that extensive cooking, and I do use a very little stove. There's a huge difference. Now, I also, to flush your toilets and get running water, you need to be on the grid. I am not on the grid. I have water jugs. These are really nice. They're really solid. They're Arizona tea jugs, and I just refill these. I can refill these at Walmart for 29 cents a gallon, as opposed to buying a gallon for like $1. They're up to like $1.20 now. So this is my sink. This is my faucet, and I need to keep these filled up. I carry about 7 gallons with me at any given time. And when I start getting low, like about 3 of them, I'm at Walmart and I go and I fill up just in case. I always want to have a good supply with me. So there's another huge difference of living off grid is you do have to go get your water, and you have to think about things like that. As far as having a sink, as far as water, no, I don't have a sink. So what I do is this is vinegar water, and I wash my dishes this way because I don't do extensive cooking. And so I spray it down, wipe it out with paper towels, and put my dishes away. Now, what about going to the bathroom? Well, I use a wide mouth container, and I keep it in here but this is, it's wide mouth, and this is what I pee into. Now, one of you asked me 2 questions, the same person in 2 different comments. You said, what do you do in the night when you have to go to the bathroom? I'm going to assume that you don't really know too much about this lifestyle, and you haven't really researched it. I might be the first nomad channel that you've ever come across. So thank you and welcome. And these are legitimate questions. So I'm going to assume that you think during the day I do use restrooms, but at night, where would I go? Well, let me just clarify this. In the day, I don't really use other restrooms either, unless I'm in a restaurant and I have to go to the bathroom. Of course, I will use it, but I'm not a big fan of public restrooms. I pee in my pee bottle. Now, when I have to do number 2, I use a lined bucket with a garbage bag, and I have a little seat that I put on it. That's what nomads do. This is not uncommon. This is not something new. We've been doing this. Nomads or van dwellers, whatever you want to call them, have been doing this for years now. And I will mention there are thousands upon thousands of us that are out here living in our vehicles. We just like the freedom. We're tired of spending our money on rent. We're tired of spending a mortgage and upkeeping a home. We're older. We want to go see things. We want to travel. We want the freedom of it. And personally, I like having a small space. I don't need a large space to live. And this, along with the freedom of this, I can put up with it. It's not hunky-dory every single day. There are certain days, especially with winter here, where I'm not getting out as much as I would like to. It's really cold outside. Everywhere in the country, we're having a very cold winter. That's one of the reasons why I've been doing so much of my filming inside my van. I will mention today earlier, Paul and I tried to film outside. It didn't go well. It just didn't go well. Which comes to it was windy, it was cold, Abby was just trying to be outside. She was cold, and it just didn't work out. I know that a lot of that said, well, we'll film, maybe you could film in Paul's van. Well, that would be nice, but I don't know. It's kind of crowded in there, and he's just, I mean, he's so proud of his van. It's his van. He's proud of it, but he's also very attached to his style of keeping up his not minivan, but his ProMaster. And he's got things hanging all over the place, and he's got clothes. Yeah, so that can make it a little difficult. So I'm here in my minivan, and I'm recording again, but I promise next week it's going to come down. I promise I'll give you some better scenery. But for today, this is where I am. Let me have another Sunday. Let's have some tea. So this is where I'm at. What else is different living off the grid in my minivan than somebody who lives in a people house? Well, as far as being a YouTube creator, there are so many challenges, like I just mentioned. There are uber challenges. Please hug your nomad video YouTube creator, because the challenges are huge. We're talking wind. We're talking trying to get proper lighting. I mean, sunlight coming at you. It's just horrible. It's horrible lighting. If you're in the shade and in the winter, I mean, it's really cold in there. So, I mean, there are YouTubers that are probably doing a good job. They might have a different camera than I do. I don't know. But I'm telling you, it's a challenge. And that's one difference of living off-grid. 85 to 90% of all YouTubers that are out there are either in a studio, they're in a dedicated bedroom in their home, they're in an office, they're in a building of some sort where they can make proper lighting, get proper sound going on, and create their videos. Yeah. So it's a challenge. One more thing about being off-grid is I take very little showers. And if you're living in a house, and the grid, your water coming through really does matter. I mean, you're on the grid and you're going to be getting water coming through, your piping. Well, I don't take showers unless I go to Planet Fitness and take a shower, or there's other places I could go, but that is the main one. So I guess in a way, yeah, I mean, if I'm taking a shower at Planet Fitness and using the gym, I'm not totally off the grid, am I? My van is off the grid, but my home is off the grid, but not in other places. But I rarely take a shower, and I'm really not that happy taking a shower at Planet Fitness. I'm really not. Sometimes there's no hot water. And this can be common across the country in different facilities of Planet Fitness. I've been to certain Planet Fitnesses where there was no hot water at all. Hardly at all. And it wasn't because somebody was using them. They had it turned down so far. Well, so what's going on with living off the grid? Well, we consume less water, a lot less water. Oh my gosh. When you're living in a people house, you're flushing the toilet each time you go to the bathroom. That's about 2 to 3 gallons of water. What do I use per day? I use a gallon, and sometimes not even that. I use it for drinking. Let's have a drink. Oops, I'm empty. I've been hydrating my body a lot more. So let me get this filled up. Yeah, so I only use maybe a gallon of water. That's about it. Almost a gallon a day. I think that's pretty good. Most homes, even if they're single and solo living in a home, they're probably using about 20 gallons a day. Sometimes it spits at me. Yeah, let's hydrate our bodies. Oh yeah, I'm getting to like water a lot better. It's good for your skin. It's good for your organs, your digestive system. So that's a big one, living off the grid. I am not wasting water. I also find that I use less paper. I'm not using that much paper. I barely use this paper towel roll. Has lasted me almost 3 weeks. It was pretty fat. Almost 3 weeks. I don't use very much paper towels at all because I don't do the extensive cooking. Another plus is not having to do yard work. If you live in a house, well, you could be renting, and then you don't have to. But if you live in a house, or you're renting a house, or you own the house, you don't have to do yard work anymore. You don't have to mow the lawns. When I visit parks, it's being mowed for me. Right. And when I dump my little garbage, and I really don't use that much. It's this little thing. This is barely, I can go 2 days filling this up. I can put it in the garbage at a park properly. And that happens. I don't have to pay for the garbage, right? Right. So these are just little things of living off the grid. I love it. I love the sustainability of it. Now, I do have my Jackeries and I have my solar. I also have another solar panel just in case, parked way in the back of my van. I call that my garage back there. So it's a fun life. It's not for everybody, but it is fun. And I did want to mention about living off the grid. People say, well, I would like to live off the grid. Well, when you live this lifestyle, you are living off the grid for the most part, except for those little times that you visit places that are plugged in. So I hope you enjoyed this. It makes you think about things. So cheers. Here's some tea. Now, I do have net gaiters. I got a few black left over. These are the most comfortable net gaiters in the entire planet on Earth. They're so comfortable. And I wear them, and of course, I love the black, but I do have other colors. And if you go to minivanlee.com, you will see what I have to offer. I have glasses and the big glasses. The reason I found some of these is that some of you said, where do you get your glasses? Tell me where. Well, I went ahead and I ordered some. I have different styles, and I named them, and they're on sale at minivanlee.com. And I also have, it's an exercise, it's a video, and very inexpensive, and I've got even little short segments you can buy for very little if you want to just do stretching or weights, things like that. Let's see what else I have. Also, I have shamags. Now, a shamag, you'll have to go there to see. I'm not going to show you right now. And then I also have the book. I have the book. And it is How to Live in a Minivan, the Minivan Leeway. But, it is filled with all kinds of information on living sustainably and living off-grid. But it will get you from start to finish, how to organize your life to get out of your home if this is the life that you want to lead and this lifestyle, and you want to join us out here, the thousands of us out here. If you want to do that, it's not expensive book at all, and it's ebook or paperback. So there you go, and it's on Amazon. Just type in Minivan Lee, and you will find it there. Until next time, everybody. Until tomorrow. Hopefully I'll get out of my van at some point. It's just so windy. It's actually very windy today, and I'm not even in Quartzsite. Oh my gosh, Quartzsite's so windy. But it's very windy. I can actually even hear it going on out there. So it's a nice, easy like Sunday day, and we had hot tea together, and I just love you guys. Thanks for spending time with me today. Bye.